Let me tell you about two people buying the exact same couch, same store, same day. Person A walks in with $800 in their bank account. They pay cash, walk out, done. Total cost, $800. Person B walks in and they need that couch. They just moved. Their back is killing them from sleeping on the floor. They don't have $800 liquid, but they see the sign, no money down, 0% interest for 12 months. Sounds amazing. So they sign up, take the couch home, same day. Fast forward to month 13, life happened. They forgot about the promotional period. Maybe they were short 1 month. Maybe they made the minimum payments and assumed it was fine. The 0% rate has expired, and now the deferred interest, all of it, every single dollar from day one, kicks in at 27%. Person B paid $800 for the couch, plus $216 in interest. So their couch cost $1,016. Same couch, same store, same day, $216 more, simply because they didn't have the cash. That is the tax. That is the hidden surcharge, stamped invisibly on almost everything in your life, the moment you stop paying with money you actually have. And most people are paying it every single month without ever seeing the line item. My name is Jake, and I've been obsessing over the mechanics of how money quietly moves away from people who need it most. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right and still somehow falling behind, if your income went up this year but your financial stress didn't go down, stick around. Because today we are going to talk about something that almost nobody explains clearly. Cash is a discount. And if you're living on credit, you are never, ever getting that discount. Here's the thing that most personal finance content refuses to say out loud. The price tag on anything in a store, on a website, in a dealership, that number is not the real price. That number is the cash price. It is the floor. For millions of people who can't pay that number up front, the real price is always higher, sometimes a little higher, sometimes catastrophically higher. We call this the access cost, the premium you pay not for the product itself, but for the right to have it now when you don't have the money now. And before you say, oh, we'll just save up and pay cash, I want you to hold that thought, because yes, theoretically that's the answer. But the reality of how most people are living in this economy means that credit isn't a choice. It's infrastructure. It's the road people are forced to drive on. And like every toll road in America, you pay every single time you get on. Let's start with the most normalized one, credit cards. The average American carries about $6,000 in credit card debt. The average interest rate right now is somewhere around 21 to 24%. So every single year, that person is paying roughly $1,260 to $1,440 in interest alone, not paying down debt, not buying anything new, just paying for the privilege of having used money that wasn't theirs 12 months ago. That is a $1,300 invisible bill that shows up nowhere on their budget because it's baked into the minimum payment. They don't see it as a separate line. They just see one monthly number and they pay it, and they feel like they're managing. But they're not managing. They're treading water in a pool that is slowly, quietly draining their financial oxygen. Let's go back to that couch, because deferred interest is one of the most predatory financial products that has somehow become completely socially acceptable. Here's how it actually works, and pay close attention, because the marketing is designed to confuse you. 0% interest for 18 months sounds like the store is doing you a favor. What it actually means is, we are calculating interest the entire time. We're just not charging it yet. The moment you miss a payment, or the moment the promotional period ends and you haven't paid in full, they reach back in time and collect every dollar of interest from day one. That's not a grace period. That's a trapdoor. You're standing on it the entire time, and most people don't realize it until they fall through. And these offers are everywhere. Furniture, electronics, medical procedures, dental work, HVAC systems. Pay nothing for 24 months. It sounds like a gift. It is a loaded gun pointed at your credit score and your savings account, and it only stays unloaded if you are disciplined enough to pay it off before the clock runs out. Rich people use these offers strategically. They take the 0% period, keep their cash in a high-yield savings account earning 4 or 5%, and then pay it off the day before the promotion ends. They actually made money on the deal. Everyone else, they're paying 27% retroactively on a couch they've been sitting on for a year and a half. Same product, completely different financial experience, based entirely on whether you understood the fine print and had the cash ready. I need you to sit with this number for a second. If you have $6,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest and you make only the minimum payment every month, which is usually around 2% of the balance, so roughly $120, do you know how long it takes to pay that off? 14 years. And in that time you will have paid over $8,000 in interest alone. You borrowed $6,000, you paid back almost $15,000. The credit card company did not build a 50-story headquarters in Midtown Manhattan because they were being generous with their minimum payment structure. The minimum payment is engineered specifically to keep you in the relationship as long as possible while extracting the maximum amount of money from you. It's the financial equivalent of a gym membership that automatically renews and is just cheap enough that you never get around to cancelling it. Except instead of $20 a month, it's costing you a decade of your financial life. And look, I know the objection. Jake, I know this. But what am I supposed to do? I need to eat. I need gas. The minimum payment is what I can afford. And that's real. That is a real place millions of people are in right now. I'm not dismissing it, but I want you to understand what that reality is actually costing you, because once you see the number, once you genuinely see it, the urgency changes. If credit cards are the old predator, buy now, pay later, BNPL, is the new one. And it is seductive in a way that credit cards never were, because it feels like it doesn't count. You're at checkout online, shoes, $120. But then you see it. Pay $30 today, then 3 easy payments of $30. Suddenly $120 feels like $30. Your brain processes it as $30. You click confirm. The research on this is genuinely alarming. Studies have shown that people spend between 20 and 40% more when a BNPL option is available at checkout. Because the pain of paying, the psychological friction that normally stops you from overspending, gets distributed across 4 future dates that don't feel real yet. You are not saving money. You are borrowing it from yourself in 3-week increments and spending more in the process. And here's where it gets structural. People are stacking these. They don't have 1 BNPL plan running, they have 4. Shoes on Afterpay, a headset on Klarna, a coat on Affirm. And they have lost track of which payment hits on which Tuesday. So they wake up one morning with $80 in their account and suddenly $90 comes out in automated payments they forgot were queued. Now they have an overdraft fee, which is the same story we talked about last time, a $5 deficit becoming a $35 charge. Except now they got there through 5 small, smart purchases that each felt completely reasonable in the moment. The access cost is being restructured to be invisible. That is the entire business model. Let's talk about something even bigger than individual purchases. Let's talk about the infrastructure of access itself. Your credit score is supposed to be a measure of trustworthiness. In practice, it has become something much more powerful and much more insidious. It has become a price-setting mechanism, a number between 300 and 850 that silently determines how much you pay for almost everything. Car insurance. In most states, your credit score affects your car insurance premium, not your driving record. Your credit score. 2 drivers with identical records. One has a 620 score, one has a 780. The person with the 620 might pay 30 to 50% more per month for the same coverage on the same streets, apartment rental, Landlords pull your credit. If your score is low, you either don't get the apartment or you get it with a larger security deposit, and sometimes 2 or 3 months up front. Money you have to have liquid right now just to secure the place. Cell phone plans. If your credit is bad, you can't get a postpaid plan, you're on prepaid, which often costs more per line for less data. Even job applications, certain employers run credit checks. So a period of financial hardship can literally make it harder to get the job that would end the financial hardship. Read that sentence again slowly. The cruel irony of the credit score economy is this: the situations that damage your credit score, job loss, medical emergency, divorce, a period of poverty, are exactly the situations that make you need money most. And your damage score ensures that the money you need now comes with the highest possible interest rate, the biggest deposits, the worst terms. It is a punishment system disguised as a measurement system. There's a version of the access cost that doesn't show up on any bill, and it might be the most expensive one. Let's call it the time premium. When you have money, you can solve problems quickly. Your water heater breaks on a Thursday. You call a plumber, you put it on your card or pay cash. It's fixed by Friday. You lost a day of hot showers and maybe $800. When you don't have money, that same water heater breaking is a negotiation. You call around for the cheapest quote. You call your brother-in-law, who knows a guy. You go to the laundromat for 2 weeks while you save up or figure out financing. The problem eats hours of your week for a month before it's resolved. That time has a cost. Every hour you spend managing a financial crisis is an hour you didn't spend on your second income stream, your online course, your kids' homework, your mental health. Poverty doesn't just drain your bank account, it colonizes your schedule. And then there's what happens when you can't solve problems fast. The small leak becomes water damage, the tooth that hurts becomes an extraction, the check engine light becomes a blown engine, the cost of delay compounds, and delay is almost always caused by the inability to pay up front. This is the access cost in its most brutal form. Not a fee you can see on a statement, but a tax on your time, your health, and your ability to build any kind of momentum. There is a study out of Princeton and Harvard that I keep coming back to. Researchers found that financial stress consumes cognitive bandwidth the same way a demanding task would. When you are genuinely worried about money, your ability to think clearly, to plan, to problem solve, to make good decisions is measurably reduced. They estimated the cognitive drain of poverty is equivalent to losing roughly 13 IQ points, the same effect as going an entire night without sleep every day. So now think about what happens when someone is managing 3 credit card minimum payments, a BNPL schedule they've lost track of, a car payment at 19% interest, and rent that's 60% of their take-home pay. Their brain is not operating at full capacity, not because they're not intelligent, but because the cognitive overhead of their financial life is enormous. And then we judge the decisions they make in that state. We say they're impulsive or irresponsible. We say they should have read the fine print. We say they should know better, but they're making decisions under a cognitive tax that most financial commentators have never experienced. The access cost isn't just financial, it runs all the way down into how clearly you can think about the problem.
Okay, I can feel the weight of this, and I want to be straight with you. I'm not telling you the system is rigged as an excuse to give up. I'm telling you because you cannot fight something you haven't named. And once you name the access cost, once you see exactly what credit is charging you, not just in interest, but in insurance premiums, time, cognitive load, security deposits, retroactive, deferred interest, the anger you feel is useful. Use it. Because here is the hard truth underneath all of this. Cash is not just convenient. Cash is a negotiating position. Cash is access to the base price. Cash is the ability to say no to a bad deal because you can wait. And everything about the credit economy is designed to put you in a position where you cannot wait. The solution is not complex, it is just hard. You have to get to a place where you have options. Even $1,000 in savings changes your posture. It means the HVAC company's financing offer is one option, not the
only option. It means the deferred interest couch is a choice you can evaluate clearly, not a trap you fall into because you had no alternative. It means when your credit card hits its limit, you are not immediately in crisis. That first layer of liquidity doesn't make you rich, but it makes you a different kind of customer, a customer with leverage, and leverage is exactly what the credit economy spends billions of dollars trying to strip away from you. Let's make this concrete because theory is only useful if you can apply it. There are places in your financial life right now where paying in cash, or the equivalent of cash, meaning debit, savings, funds you actually have, gets you a better deal, often a significantly better deal. Medical bills. This is one of the most underused pieces of financial knowledge in America. If you are uninsured or paying out of pocket, hospitals and clinics will frequently accept 40 to 60% of the stated bill if you call and offer to pay in full immediately. The number on the bill is not the real price. It is the insurance negotiated price, which is inflated to begin with. Cash offer, paid today, settled in full. Most billing departments have the authority to accept it. You just have to ask. Car repairs. Independent mechanics will often lower the labor cost if you pay cash on the spot. Not always, but often enough to ask every time. Rent negotiation. If you've been a reliable tenant, call your landlord before your lease renewal and offer to pay 2 or 3 months up front in exchange for a discount or a rent freeze. Landlords hate vacancy. A reliable tenant paying 3 months early is worth real money to them. Bulk purchasing. We talked about this before, but the math is worth repeating. The difference between buying in bulk and buying in small quantities on necessity is often a 30 to 50% markup. That's a 30 to 50% return on the money you use to stock up. No market gives you that guaranteed. Every single one of these is a discount that only becomes available when you have the liquidity to access it. The cash discount is real. It exists everywhere. Most people just never get to use it. So what do you actually do? I'll give you the same answer I always give, not because it's easy, but because it's true. Stop the bleeding before you try to build. If you have 22% credit card debt, paying it down is a guaranteed 22% return on your money. I don't care what the stock market is doing. There is no investment available to a regular person that beats a guaranteed 22% return. Pay it off like it's on fire, because it is. Once that breathing room exists, even a small amount of it, you stop being a hostage to the access cost. You stop paying the cash poor premium on insurance, on financing, on deferred interest traps. You graduate slowly from being the customer that financial companies love to profit from to being the customer they have to work to earn. Because here's the thing about cash, about liquidity, about having options. It doesn't just save you money on individual transactions. It changes what kind of transactions you're eligible for. It changes your credit score, which changes your insurance rate, which changes your rent requirements, which changes how much cash you can actually save each month. One variable improves, and it tugs on every other variable in the system. The same feedback loop that traps people on the way down becomes the engine that lifts them on the way up. The goal isn't to be rich. The goal is to escape the access cost, to stop paying the premium that comes with not having options, to buy the couch for $800 and walk out the door and never once think about deferred interest or the trapdoor underneath your feet. That freedom starts with understanding that every time you use credit without a plan, you are paying more for everything, every single thing. The price tag in the window is for someone else. Right now, you're paying the other price, the real one. And once you understand that, you cannot unsee it. If this landed for you, if you've been living in the credit economy, and this is the first time someone's laid out exactly what it's actually costing you in total, share this. Not for the algorithm, because someone you know is paying this tax right now and has no idea. Hit subscribe, because we are going to keep breaking down the invisible mechanics of money until none of this is invisible anymore. I'll see you in the next one.